It started like something straight out of a movie. Emily had just moved to Chicago after a messy breakup. New city, new apartment, new beginnings, or so she thought. She wasn't looking for love, but love, or something that looked like it, found her. It was a random Thursday night. Her friend dragged her to a small rooftop bar downtown. The kind of place where the lights are dim and the music's just loud enough to drown out the small talk. That's where she met Jake. Tall, confident, charming, the type who always seems to know exactly what to say. He complimented her laugh, said her energy felt different, and in that moment, it felt like the universe was finally cutting her a break. The next morning, her phone buzzed. A text from him. "Morning, beautiful. Hope your day's amazing already." She smiled. It had been a long time since someone made her feel seen like that. Then another text came at lunch. Then one at night. Then a call before bed, just to hear her voice. Before she knew it, Jake was everywhere, in her messages, in her thoughts, in her plans for the weekend. He was funny, attentive, and just the right amount of mysterious. He asked deep questions, remembered tiny details, told her he'd never met anyone like her before. Love bombing always starts like this, intense, intoxicating, like emotional fireworks. But here's the catch, fireworks don't last long. Jake said things like, "You're different. I don't usually open up this fast. I feel like I can finally be myself around you." And Emily, she believed him. Who wouldn't? When someone floods your life with that much affection, it doesn't feel fake, it feels real. He'd send her songs late at night, call her his piece. He'd show up with her favorite latte at her office. He even told her he'd deleted all his dating apps because he was done searching. Within 3 weeks, he'd already talked about introducing her to his mom. That's how fast it moved. And when Emily's friend said, "Hey, don't you think this is a little too soon?" she just laughed. "When it's real," she said, "you just know." The truth is, love bombing feels amazing because it's designed to. It's the manipulation that doesn't look like manipulation. It's the high before the crash. Jake wasn't in love. He was performing it. He mirrored everything Emily said, her favorite books, her values, her sense of humor. When she talked about her past heartbreak, he nodded, eyes soft, saying things like, "I'd never hurt you like that." But what she didn't know was that this intensity wasn't about connection. It was about control. Love bombers don't fall for you, they study you. They learn what makes you feel special, then feed it back to you until you're emotionally hooked. And once they know you're hooked, that's when the mask starts to slip. If you've ever been through this, the perfect beginning that turned into confusion, hit that like button. Because you're not the only one who fell for the act. About 2 months in, things changed. Not dramatically, just enough to make Emily second-guess herself. Jake stopped texting first. He stopped calling before bed. And when she finally asked, "Hey, is everything okay?" he sighed. "You're overthinking again, babe. I've just been busy." Busy. That word became his shield. He started canceling plans. Started making her feel like she was the problem. And the more he pulled away, the more she tried to fix things. That's the twisted part. Love bombing doesn't just make you fall in love with them. It makes you addicted to the version of them that no longer exists. Emily would stare at her phone, rereading old texts. The good morning ones, the you're my everything ones. She started wondering, did I do something wrong? Did I say too much? Am I too much? And that's exactly what Jake wanted, confusion. Because confusion keeps you chasing. By month 3, the tone had flipped completely. The same man who once said, "You're perfect," now said things like, "You're so dramatic. You always need reassurance." He'd disappear for days, then reappear like nothing happened. When she brought it up, he'd call her crazy, gaslight her until she started apologizing for even feeling hurt. And that's when she realized she wasn't in a relationship anymore. She was in a cycle. If you've ever felt someone pull away after making you feel like their world, comment yes. Your story could help someone break free from the same cycle. The human brain doesn't process emotional withdrawal easily. When someone love bombs you, they flood your system with dopamine and oxytocin, the same chemicals that fire when you're high. So when they pull back, your brain doesn't see rejection, it sees withdrawal. You start craving them like a drug. And love bombers, they know that. That's why they reappear just when you start moving on. By the 4th month, Jake's affection was a distant memory. Emily barely recognized the person she'd fallen for. He started criticizing her clothes, rolling his eyes when she spoke, mocking her when she brought up her feelings. But every once in a while, he'd give her just enough kindness to keep her hooked. A random miss you text, a small compliment after a fight, a breadcrumb of hope. It's called intermittent reinforcement, one of the most powerful psychological traps there is. It's what casinos use to keep people gambling. It's what toxic partners use to keep people loyal. And the cruelest part? They do it because they can. Jake didn't love Emily. He loved her reaction to him. Her tears, her confusion, her desperation to fix things. It fed his ego. The more she chased, the less he gave. Until one Friday night, he simply stopped responding altogether. No fight, no explanation, no closure, just silence. Emily waited for days, checking her phone, refreshing his socials. That's when she saw it. A photo of Jake, smiling, arm around another girl. Same rooftop bar. Same caption he once used with her. When you know, you know. It felt like her chest collapsed. How could someone say all those things and just move on like nothing happened? That's the discard phase. It's not an accident. It's the plan. Love bombers don't end relationships. They replace them. Because it was never about love. It was about control. And once you're no longer a source of admiration, they move on to the next. If this story hits close to home, drop a heart in the comments. Healing starts when you realize it wasn't your fault. Emily cried for weeks. Her friends said, "You're better off without him." But that didn't stop the ache. Because she wasn't just mourning him, she was mourning who she thought he was. And that's what makes love bombing so cruel. You don't lose a person. You lose the illusion they built. 2 months later, she finally stopped checking her phone. She started therapy, went to the gym, reconnected with friends. She was starting to feel like herself again. And that's when it happened. A text. "Hey, I miss you." Her stomach dropped. For a moment, her brain betrayed her. That old spark lit up. Part of her wanted to reply. But another part of her, the part that had been broken and rebuilt, said no. She didn't respond. And that silence? That was the loudest thing she'd ever said. See, love bombers always come back. Not because they care, but to see if they still can. It's called hoovering, when manipulators try to suck you back into their orbit. They test your boundaries to see if you've grown. And this time, Emily had. She finally saw it for what it was. Not love, not fate, not bad timing. It was manipulation wearing a mask. If you've ever ignored a text like that and chose peace instead, hit like. That's real strength right there. The truth is, love bombing isn't love. It's a sales pitch with no product. A fantasy built on intensity, not intimacy. And the second you stop chasing that high, you start healing. Because when someone's affection is conditional, their love was never real. Emily learned the hardest truth of all, that closure doesn't come from them. It comes from finally realizing you deserve better. And that kind of peace, you can't fake that. To anyone listening right now, if someone made you question your worth, if they built you up just to tear you down, remember this. You didn't lose something real. You escaped something fake. Like this video if it opened your eyes. Subscribe for more stories that expose dark psychology and teach emotional armor. And comment, "I'm healing," if you're ready to move forward. Love bombing feels like fireworks. Real love feels like peace.